D.b Cooper, full narration script. November 24th, 1971. The day before Thanksgiving. One of the busiest travel days of the year in America. Airports packed, families heading home, and somewhere in the chaos of Portland International Airport, a man in a dark business suit calmly purchases a one-way ticket under the name Dan Cooper. He is unremarkable, middle-aged, average height, dark sunglasses, a black briefcase. He blends into the crowd the way a stone sinks into water. The flight is short, less than 30 minutes in the air. He takes seat 18C, an aisle seat near the back. He orders a bourbon and soda. He pays for his drink. He tips the flight attendant. Then he hands her a note. Florence Schaffner, the flight attendant, assumes at first it is the advances of a lonely businessman. She tucks the note into her pocket without reading it. The man leans toward her and says quietly, "Miss, you'd better look at that note. I have a bomb." She reads it. Her hands go still. The note tells her he has a bomb in his briefcase. He wants $200,000 in cash. He wants 4 parachutes, 2 primary, 2 reserve. He wants a fuel truck standing by in Seattle to refuel the aircraft. And he wants to be obeyed completely. Schaffner walks to the cockpit. She tells the captain. The captain contacts Northwest Orient Ground Operations. Ground Operations contacts the FBI. The FBI contacts the airline's president. Within minutes, the machinery of a crisis response is set in motion. He is calm, disturbingly calm. He is not sweating. He is not fidgeting. He shows Schaffner the contents of his briefcase. Red cylinders, wires, a battery. Whether it is a real bomb or an elaborate prop, no one on that plane is willing to find out. The aircraft circles Seattle for 2 hours while law enforcement scrambles to meet his demands. The FBI and the airline agree. They will comply. $200,000 is assembled. The bills are all 20s. The serial numbers are recorded. The FBI photographs every single note. 4 parachutes are delivered to the plane. The aircraft lands in Seattle at 5:39 in the evening. The passengers are told there is a minor mechanical issue. They are kept calm. One by one, they are allowed to deplane in exchange for the money and the parachutes. Cooper keeps the crew. He keeps the plane. Once the passengers are gone and the aircraft is refueled, he gives new instructions to the pilots. They are to fly to Mexico City, but the route must be specific. They must fly low, no higher than 10,000 feet. They must fly slow, flaps partially down, landing gear extended, a speed of no more than 150 knots. The pilots tell him this configuration will burn fuel too quickly to reach Mexico. He agrees to a refueling stop in Reno, Nevada. They take off from Seattle just before 7:40 in the evening. Somewhere over the dark forests of southwest Washington, in the rain, in the night, in a pressurized cabin cutting through turbulence at low altitude. D.b Cooper straps on a parachute, ties the money bag to his body, and opens the rear air stair of the 727. The crew never sees him again. At 10:15 that night, the plane lands in Reno. The crew emerges. The rear staircase is still open. The plane is searched. Cooper is gone. The money is gone. Both reserve parachutes are still on board. As is one of the 2 primary chutes, he took only one. The FBI launches one of the largest manhunts in American history. They call it NORJAC, Northwest Hijacking. Hundreds of agents. Thousands of interviews. Military personnel comb the dense forests of southwest Washington and northern Oregon. Nothing. No body. The name D.b Cooper is actually a mistake. A clerical error made by a wire service reporter who confused Dan Cooper with a man named D.b Cooper who had been briefly investigated and cleared. The name stuck, and so an alias became a legend. For years the case goes cold, and then warms again with tips, confessions, and theories. In 1972, a man named Richard McCoy hijacks a United Airlines flight using almost identical methods. Low-altitude jump, ransom money, parachute escape. He is caught, convicted, and imprisoned. Many believe McCoy and Cooper are the same man. The FBI disagrees. McCoy is killed in a prison escape in 1974, taking whatever secrets he held with him. In 1980, a young boy named Brian Ingram is on a family camping trip along the north bank of the Columbia River, about 40 miles downstream from Vancouver, Washington. While digging a fire pit on a sandy beach, his fingers close around something unexpected. He pulls out a rotting packet of $20 bills. Then another. 3 packets in total, containing 138 bills. The serial numbers match. They are D.b Cooper's ransom money. But the parachute he chose, possibly by accident, possibly in the dark, possibly in a hurry, was a military surplus chute used for training. It was not steerable. It cannot be guided. Whoever D.b Cooper was, he jumped into a black November night, in the rain, at roughly 10,000 feet, over one of the most rugged and isolated stretches of wilderness in the Pacific Northwest. Most experts who have analyzed the jump believe Cooper did not survive. The terrain below his likely exit point is brutal. Dense forest, steep ravines, rivers swollen with autumn rain. A parachutist landing blind in those conditions, at night, in bad weather, with a heavy bag of cash strapped to his body, would face survival odds that most professionals consider near zero. But no body was ever found. And in a wilderness that vast and that unforgiving, that may mean nothing at all. The FBI officially suspended active investigation of the case in July 2016, 45 years after the hijacking, citing a need to redirect resources. The case remains the only unsolved commercial airline hijacking in American history. He walked onto a plane. He committed an audacious crime in front of a plane load of witnesses. He jumped out of it, and he vanished. Who was D.b Cooper? A veteran, a drifter, a disgruntled aerospace worker with nothing left to lose. A careful planner who executed a near-perfect crime. A desperate man who made one fatal miscalculation and died in the dark among the trees of the Pacific Northwest. Or someone who landed. Someone who buried his money, shed his alias, and walked back into the ordinary world and lived out his days in quiet anonymity, watching the FBI hunt a ghost that was always himself. The forests of southwest Washington have kept their secrets for more than 50 years. And somewhere in a damp ravine, beneath decades of sediment, or in the fading memory of a man long dead, the truth of D.b Cooper still waits to be found. If you enjoyed this documentary and want more true mysteries from history, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and let us know in the comments.